Hi everyone, welcome to the channel. I'm really glad you're here. If you enjoy deep dives into art history and stories about remarkable artists, make sure to subscribe and support the channel. It truly helps us grow. And now, let's talk about Ferdinand Hodler. Years of life 1853-1918, was a Swiss painter who became famous in his own country, which is actually quite rare since many Swiss artists gained recognition abroad and often lived outside Switzerland. Hodler created his own artistic direction called parallelism. He frequently used symbols and allegories, and his paintings were structured around a certain rhythm, almost like music. This rhythm was achieved through the repetition and alternation of human figures and landscape elements. Through this approach, Hodler wanted to reflect a universal order, something he believed existed in all living things and was part of a greater cosmic harmony. At that time, Switzerland was not an artistic center like Paris or London. Most ambitious artists tried to leave this quiet, comfortable country and move to France or England. They lived in Montmartre, visited lively cafes and cabarets like Theophile Steinlen did, and created art inspired by both the old masters and the newest modernist works. In Paris especially, they had the perfect opportunity to see all of that with their own eyes. But Hodler stayed in Switzerland his entire life. He studied there, worked there, organized bold and sometimes provocative artistic actions, fell in love with beautiful women, and eventually achieved fame and recognition. For the Swiss, he became the most iconic painter of the nation, almost like a national hero, similar to how Pushkin is seen in Russian literature. Hodler's childhood was far from happy. At the age of 7, he lost his father and 2 brothers to tuberculosis. His mother remarried, but 7 years later, she also passed away. By 14, Hodler was a complete orphan. He was raised by his stepfather, who worked as a decorative painter, painting signs, posters, and murals. The boy had no inheritance, no financial support. He had no choice but to learn the craft of painting and try to earn a living from it. As he grew older, Hodler moved to the town of Thun, which had become a tourist destination. There, he painted simple postcards with views of the lake and local scenery, selling them to visitors, something like the early version of today's souvenir magnets. But as soon as he turned 18, Hodler moved to Geneva. That's where the Art Academy was, where museums were, where real artistic life was happening. He ended up living in Geneva for the rest of his life, eventually becoming a national figure. Hodler began copying paintings by famous artists he saw in museums, and he quickly became very skilled at it. His talent was noticed by the well-known painter and director of the Geneva School of Art, Barthélemy Men. Men invited the young artist to attend the school for free. Later in life, Hodler wrote with gratitude, "I owe everything in my life to men." After completing his studies, Hodler traveled to Spain in search of inspiration. There, he studied the works of Velázquez and Titian. What he saw had a powerful impact on him and helped him create one of his most controversial and scandalous paintings, Night. The painting was rejected in Switzerland. It was considered too indecent to exhibit. So Hodler organized a private showing, raised money, and took the work to Paris, where he presented it at an exhibition. In Paris, attitudes were more liberal, and there were more art lovers open to innovation. The painting was a huge success. The public and French artists admired it. Hodler began to be talked about as a talented painter and decorator. He was invited to major exhibitions across Europe and received numerous well-paid commissions. For 20 years, Hodler had lived in poverty, sometimes painting in exchange for food. And finally, recognition came, but it didn't come easily. He had to invent his own artistic direction, develop his philosophical vision of the world, and translate it onto canvas, painting in a way no one had done before. Success, as it turns out, is never as simple as it looks. Sadly, his old age was not happy. Despite earning a great deal of money and achieving widespread recognition, Hodler spent the final years of his life in a hospital room. Yet even there, he continued painting until his very last days, creating works that remain powerful and deeply expressive. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to the channel, leave a comment with your thoughts, and consider supporting us with a donation. It truly helps us continue creating these videos.